How do you feel about what's going on today with the police and all the protesting going on around the world?
Well, this is a long battle we've had with 5-0. Um, there's the police's job has always been to keep black folks in a certain place. Comes under different names. One point it was called the Slave Patrol. The other time it was enforcing Jim Crow laws. Other times it was, policies of containment. Uh, it's always been going on. We've always had this battle. The protests that are going on now is just another manifestation of it. The question is, what moves are we making? I'm glad to see a lot of people are out there doing what they're doing, but I'm more interested in what's the policies. Are we going to defund these police departments? Are we going to abolish some of the laws that have protected them? Are we going to put systems into place that eventually would make policing irrelevant? These are things that we got to think about, because if it's just providing more training and having, every so often somebody go to jail, that's not enough. That's not enough, because we're not talking about just people being killed. We're talking about the day-to-day humiliation that people have faced when dealing with police. We're talking about budgets. Like, they're cutting school budgets right now in Oakland because the police department got more than 50% of the budget. So that means we got to switch that around. So I'm glad that people are having these conversations. It's up to us to leverage those conversations and show either the financial hardships or the financial disadvantage, the emotional and physical toll, the legal ramifications that police have cost many communities. $60 million, $70 million in settlement have gone to police in the past 7, 8 years in Oakland. That's $70 of our taxpayer dollars, right? So I'm convinced that there's some good people that have some good hearts that are in that system, but it's a system that they can't control. So many of them people have to be silent, or they put their lives at risk. So if you work at a job where your life is at risk for speaking out about the right thing, then that should tell you something about the job that you're on. I mean, I worked at a job where I spoke before Congress and the FCC. I didn't mind blowing the whistle on people that was making shit fucked up for all of us. So you know what? These radio stations, let me tell you how they operate. These people who are in these corporate positions, this is what they do to us. So that wasn't a problem. Did it cost a career? I probably won't work for some of those companies again, but that's okay. I don't want to work for those companies. But my life was never in danger. So if you're looking at an institution where people can't do the right thing because their life is in danger, then maybe those institutions need to be dismantled. So I don't care if you're in New York City, or if you're out here in Oakland, or if you're in Texas or wherever, the police is all the same. I think there's a large number of white supremacists that work for them, and they brought that ideology into the fold. I think there are people that are cowardly who got into that profession because they couldn't handle business outside of not having a badge and a gun, and so they find some sort of power within that. They need to go. And I think at this moment, there's an old saying, Goliath never wins. There's a story about David versus Goliath. Goliath never wins. He never won that fight. And if this is Goliath, we're David. And David had 5 smooth stones, and he only needed 1. So all he needed was good aim. So the question is, what's your aim like? What's the weakness? Because they do have a weakness. And are you able to exploit that weakness? We got to be thinking in terms of that. So am I afraid of them? No, I'm not. Do I like them? Do I know people that work there? Yes, I do. But do I want to dismantle the way that they operate? Absolutely. Is that possible? Of course it is. There are lots of weaknesses. We're just going to exploit them. And we're exploiting them now. So, we got bills passed that were said to be impossible to pass. We're going to get some of these departments to fund it. They said that can't happen. That's going to happen. We're going to repeal the Policeman's Bill of Rights. They said that can't happen. That absolutely will happen. In this lifetime, we're not talking about 7 generations or 50 years from now. I just think I'm around, and there are a lot of people that are now laser focused and understand that Goliath will lose, and this was their Goliath moment. They got too big, and Goliath overreached, and that stone came from the slingshot, hit him in between the eyes. So we're gonna win this one. And so the protests have been good. I will say one other thing. A lot of these protests are people, a lot of these buildings being burnt are folks trying to get their insurance money. So don't get it twisted on that. There are folks that were out of work. They own businesses. They miss Mother's Day. They miss Easter Sunday. They miss graduation. And they know people coming out of this pandemic don't have no money. So they stole 70 cars in the city up the street from us, San Leandro. I know organizers. I know some good organizers. And no affront to them, but they ain't stealing 70 cars. I don't care how organized you are, right? And I know folks on the streets, and they not stealing 70 cars. 70 cars. That's insurance shit. Malls that have nothing to do with black people got broken into. Best Buy looted. All that sort of stuff. And I ain't mad, but people going, is that far-fetched? Go look back in 1977 and the blackout in New York. Go back and look at the South Bronx when people were like, I can't get these rent payments because of the fiscal crisis. Flame on. So you just saw a modern day version of that. So some of that stuff was real. Some of that stuff really was about people being angry. But a lot of that shit was, we need to get paid. We'll pay our deductible. Just cash us out. And they'll scale down, and won't be caught holding the bag. So it wasn't us who did all that shit.